Do you guys want to hear my big, bold Game of the Year prediction? My official prediction? This is my big prediction. And I'm the only person who has the balls to say this. And I'm just going to say it, because if I'm right, then I'm a genius. And if I'm wrong, I'm really wrong. So I'm just going to go ahead and predict it, because there's something in my gut that's saying this. But here's the deal, dudes. I'm going to bust this out. We're doing this again. We're looking at this shit again. There's two separate predictions. There's the more realistic, outlandish prediction, and then there's my balls to the walls prediction that I think could happen. My balls to the wall prediction is that it's gonna be a rebirth sweep. Every single category that it's nominated will win. My most realistic prediction is that Game of the Year will be the only category Rebirth will lose, and it'll be Balatro, and it will win every other nomination. It'll win Best Game Direction, it'll win Best Narrative, it'll win Best Score and Music, Best Audio Design, Best Performance. That's my realistic prediction. It's actually going to be a Rebirth sweep, but then the balls to the wall one is that it also wins Game of the Year. Because I was thinking about this. I was thinking that there's this Jeff Keighley element to the Game Awards that I'm kind of like been thinking about. There is a chance it could be rigged a little bit, because Rebirth had 2 trailers shown during 2 different Game Awards. They had the debut announcement of Rebirth during the Game Awards one year, and then they had the song of Rebirth performed the next year, or was it Summer Games Fest? I forget. But they got 2 big Rebirth announcements during like Game of the Year and like this in the Summer Games Fest. I think the only one that was like the first one was a Sony State of Play. The other 2 big announcements was at the Game Awards and then the Summer Games Fest. So there could be a somewhat rigged thing going on that could benefit Rebirth, and I'll accept it. So that's my prediction. I'm throwing out there. No one else has the balls to say it, because everyone's gonna say Xiao Yurishri is gonna win or whatever. That's probably it could win. It's most likely to win. But I'm gonna be the one dude to be like, you know what? I think Rebirth's gonna sweep. Because before, when I saw Xiao Yurishri, I was like, oh, we're screwed. The Rebirth's screwed. But I don't know. The more I think about it, I think what might be happening is that they want to be good standing with FromSoft. So they're like, hey, we love you guys so much. We're going to nominate the DLC. We're not going to give the award to it, but we're going to nominate it because we are FromSoft fanboys. That could be also what's going on. So it's not necessarily they're nominating it to give it to the award. They're just nominating it to be like, hey, your DLC was like one of the greatest DLCs ever. So good, we're making an exception for it. We're not going to award it, but we're going to nominate it. So I'm going to say this on top of this, okay? On top of this Rebirth stuff. Balatro is great, but you know what has one of the greatest card games of all time in this top 5 list? That's not Balatro. There is another card game that is one of the greatest card games of all time that was made for a video game, and that's Queen's Blood. Queen's Blood is in Rebirth, and Queen's Blood is legitimately, it is by consensus one of the greatest mini games in any video game. So it's like one of the best card games ever made, and one of the best RPGs ever made. That's all I'm saying. If Balatro wins, good for them. Again, my realistic prediction is a Rebirth sweep, except Game of the Year, and then my balls to the wall is a Rebirth sweep. Because here's why I'm going to get in the weeds of this a little bit of why I think this is going to be a sweep. Because if you look at stuff like game direction, Rebirth has the most ambitious, crazy shit. Like the amount of mini games, the amount of story, the amount of open world stuff that's in Rebirth, of how much shit they crammed into this is insane. So I could see a situation where they honor like, hey, you guys just went all out on this game. We're going to give you best game direction, but for Game of the Year, we're going to give it something else. That could happen. That's like more realistic, because if you're really wanting to award something that's really, outstanding creative vision and innovation, you got to give it to Rebirth, because that's like this is like one of the most ambitious RPGs ever made. Like how much shit is in here. So I think this should win this specific award. But going deeper into the weeds here, we have to remember the Jeff Keighley element here. This is a little bit of conspiracy theory. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think Konami is still fans of Jeff Keighley at all. Because originally I thought, oh, Silent Hill 2 is going to win. Best narrative. Now I was thinking, I was like, wait a minute. No, there's still bad blood between Konami and Jeff Keighley. Because if you guys remember, Jeff Keighley openly talked shit about Konami like 5 years ago, or like 8 years ago, and that was a big no-no. I think Konami was so pissed, they have like a bad standing with Jeff Keighley. So that's why I'm like, oh, maybe it won't go to Silent Hill 2, it'll just go to Rebirth. That made me think of like, oh, this is maybe a reason why Silent Hill 2 is snubbed from Game of the Year. Further thinking like that, the awards I thought Silent Hill 2 would win might actually go to Rebirth instead. So yeah, best score in music, I mean, that's going to be Rebirth. I mean, we're already going to know that. Best audio, yeah, this is the one I thought Silent Hill 2 was going to win as best audio design, but I think they're just going to give it to Rebirth. Because I was thinking, oh, maybe Astrobot, blah, blah, blah. But I think the only other game that I think deserves this is Silent Hill 2, but I don't think Silent Hill 2 is going to win anything. That's my suspicion. Like this goes back to best performance too. I think Brianna White's gonna win this. But this one's hard. Even personally, it's like both of these performances are so goated. These are like some of the most goated performances, just bar none. The final 8 hours of Rebirth for Brianna White is just incredible. What's the other one that Rebirth was nominated for? Best RPG? Yeah, Rebirth's gonna win this one. Anyway, that's my big brain prediction. It could be totally wrong. I could be totally wrong. But if I'm right, I look like a genius. But if I'm wrong, I'm probably going to be very wrong. And all sorts of games are going to win sort of awards and stuff. But I kind of feel like if a game is on a momentum of winning stuff, it's going to win all the categories. Because it's such a massive game. Because it's got good music, it's got good sound, it's got a great performance, it's got all of the things it's nominated for, it does it exceptionally. So it just might get momentum to just win all the awards. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Because it's kind of the only game that's nominated for everything, if you think about it, right? It's kind of nominated for everything. This is the only award it's not nominated for, it's art direction. I'm just throwing it out there. I want to make a bold prediction. So anyway, you guys can come back to me when the Game Awards happens. You know, I'm gonna post this as a video, right? I'm gonna post this discussion as a video, so you guys can come back to me after the awards and be like, you dummy, you Final Fantasy VII fanboy, you got wrecked. Or you come back to me and go, oh my god, you're like Copernicus, dude. My prediction is bold. I set it in stone. You heard it from the funk. Rebirth sweep. I've heard no one say it. I think everyone's trying to just try to say the right thing, you know? Everyone's trying to say the right thing. Be like, well, you know, I think like Elden Ring's gonna win. Well, no, I gotta make a bold prediction. I'm making the bold one. I'm okay with looking bad, you know? Watch, we're gonna watch the Game Awards and it's just gonna lose all these categories and I'm just gonna be like, oh, okay, all right.